When I released the book, I remembered my days as Governor State of West Bengal for 3 years. So I called him Namaskar. Greetings to all of you. Admiral R. Hari Kumar, Chief of Naval Staff, Indian Navy. In his discourse, he has traversed nearly everything and leaving nothing much for me to reflect. He is a domain expert. I am not one. You all can delve deep at micro level. I see things only at macro level from a distance. So for me, the discourse was a learning lesson. But I may share it with you. Defense had been my first love. And that's how I came to be admitted to Sainik School, Chittorgarh. I did qualify, but my right eye did not help me much. So I had to take the other stream. Admiral Karambir Singh, Chairman, National Maritime Foundation. As a matter of fact, when both of them were there to receive me, I congratulated both of them for having great names. One is Hari, the other believes in Karam, so Karamveer. Vice Admiral Pradeep Chauhan, Director General, National Maritime Foundation. I recognize the presence of Admiral Sunil Lamba, 23rd Chief of Naval Staff, Indian Navy, distinguished audience. And I know everyone in this room has domain expertise. Everyone in this room is a nerve center, an epicenter to catalyze affirmative situations for larger welfare of humanity. My greetings to all the participants, and I gather one session is already over. This is an important dialogue from every perspective. Congratulations to the Indian Navy for organizing this interaction amongst the stakeholders and strategic think tank on an issue that is of critical relevance for the peace and stability of our neighborhood. This is vital for growth and prosperity of Bharat. This is contemporaneously very relevant given the situation we all are faced with at global level and the challenges that come with it. The theme of the deliberations, geopolitical impacts upon Indo-Pacific maritime trade and connectivity, is indeed very apt and timely. We are already feeling the impact at a global level when these things are not very secure. Much is happening amongst 38 countries of India and Pacific region comprising Africa, Asia, and Oceania. This region, home to 64% of global population, contributes 62% of the global GDP. 50% of global trade and 40% of oil passes through Indo-Pacific region, and that in the context of Bharat includes 90% of our trade and 80% of our critical freight, coal, petroleum, gas, iron ore, fertilizers, to name some. Look at the situation from another perspective. With 2.4 million square kilometer of exclusive economic zone, and this zone has huge potential and any potential exploitation comes with challenges. India has serious stake in the peace, prosperity, and stability of Indo-Pacific region to ensure maritime trade and security. Indeed, geopolitical scenario is of dominant importance, and its impact on maritime trade and connectivity cannot be overstated, more so in the current times. Friends, our trajectory, growth trajectory of Bharat is continually incremental for last few years. We as a nation are positioned currently as fifth largest global economy, having overtaken in 2022 the United Kingdom and France. By 2030, the nation is poised to be the third largest global economy, this time overtaking Japan and Germany. As India's economic progress grows, dotted with phenomenal growth and deep technical penetration, which has been globally acclaimed during G20. So do our stakes in global and regional affairs, and also the challenges that come with it. The dialogue this year, this dialogue is the fourth in the line. We have had Raisina Dialogue 2023 with theme provocation, uncertainty, turbulence, lighthouse in the tempest. There was another dialogue, the Indo-Pacific Army Chiefs Conference, the first of its kind, initiated by the Indian Army. Then there was a recent one to which reference was made by Shri Hari Kumarji, Chanakya Defense Dialogue, and now this one. This platform is eminently suited to meticulously analyze the complexities of security challenges in the Indo-Pacific and define a way forward stance for collective security within the region so that there is blossoming environment for trade in the region. The people present here, the experts, will find a way out. And there is urgency to have a way forward stance given the cliffhanging situations we are facing. It is a matter of satisfaction that Bharat, home to 1/6 of humanity, is rightly coming into its own as epicenter for deep and thoughtful ideation of issues concerning global security and trade. This is a sea change from past. Such events were not happening earlier. Convergence of human minds, getting together of human resource to address issues of regional and global nature in Bharat indicates the change that is taking place in the global geopolitical scenario. These dialogues afford an impactful platform and valuable opportunity of involved interaction amongst informed minds and scratching beyond surface issues connected to defense strategy and collaborative partnership, all vital to maritime trade and connectivity. An expected outcome would be forging and convergence of all stakeholders to secure a stable and prosperous future in the vibrant landscape of the Indo-Pacific by ensuring peace. This landscape, as has already been indicated, I wouldn't dilate much on that, has enormous potential to enhance economies of the world, all the countries, make our lives much better, and therefore it has an importance of its own, unique importance. We need to engage quite seriously to ensure it. In your deliberations, there would be obvious focus on evolution of a strategy for security measures in the region to fortify India's position as a ready, resurgent, and relevant stakeholder among the nations in this region. As a matter of fact, historically, India has believed and practiced over centuries such kind of connectivity and trade through the seas. The conception of an ideation forum to dissect contemporary challenges to maritime trade and connectivity in the Indo-Pacific is indeed thoughtful, particularly given the explosive global scenario with many cliffhanging situations that potentially can derail smooth sailing of trade and maintenance of connectivity in the Indo-Pacific region. As a matter of fact, the Admiral had indicated dislocation of supply chains. The Admiral had indicated the kind of serious, explosive, chaotic situation it can create even in the field of food security. So the challenges are writing on the wall. Evolution of a strategy to deal with these challenges, to contain these menacing trends is a priority for welfare of the entire humanity. Friends, India as a nation can be singled out as being consistent proponent of peace. This country, friends, has never engaged in expansion. And this was again signaled a few years back by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that this is also not an era of expansion. Our firm commitment to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam ascends from our Upanishads the concept of one earth, one family, one future. And that was also indicated during G20 presidency of Bharat. They are with us both a way of life and dictate our global outlook. Today, India, while cherishing and practicing the principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, also subscribes to securing noble aspirations in its strength. These great ideals, these great desires that are wholesome for the entire humanity get meaning in physical terms only when you elucidate them from a position of strength. This has been also indicated by Chanakya. We had a dialogue in his name, by Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda, a global icon from this land. Your strength will define global order. Your strength will define peace. Friends, emergence of Bharat as a leading global economy, coupled with this phenomenal growth, is a stabilizing factor for global peace and harmony. I say so particularly because just a decade ago, Bharat was counted as one amongst 5 fragile economies in the world. We have come a long way. Presently, to the extent size of this economy is concerned, we are the fastest growing. And therefore, India has to play a critical constructive role to ensure that we lead from the front to ensure a global order. I had indicated earlier, to which a reference was made by the Admiral, I reiterate. You cannot enforce peace, you cannot negotiate peace, you cannot aspire peace from a position of weakness. You have to be strong, and you have to be strong on all fundamentals. India, in the current scenario, is eminently suited for this, because growth story of India is like a plateau. The development is concerning all at all level. That being the situation, There is concurrent need, therefore, to revisit metaphysics of the international system and debate as to how to strengthen deterrence and revitalize diplomacy in imaginative ways to contain and resolve conflagrations. The world presently is facing two important conflagrations, and the tunnel does not show light on any of these at the moment. The humanity is looking for light at the end of the tunnel. That unfortunately not visible. And therefore, you as experts, you as concerned, will have to think out of the box to find a solution. And awareness and awakening is one facet which such dialogues really can catalyze. Collaborative security and innovative partnerships seem to be the way forward. And I have no doubt, with my limited experience in this position, this is the only way out. No country can stand alone. There will have to be action in togetherness. There will have to be sharing of thought processes. There will have to be full application of mind to be on the same page on certain issues. It was indicated by Mahatma Gandhi ji. The world has everything for everyone's need, but not for greed. Greed of an individual can be contained by regulatory mechanism, but greed of a sovereign nation can be contained only when other sovereign nations come together, find a way out, have a platform, and the platform has to be impactful. I have no doubt in sharing with you my pain and anguish. If 1/6 of humanity is not represented in the United Nations Security Council, certainly its efficacy is downsized. Time has come when we need to focus on that also. Emerging deep technologies like artificial intelligence and its collaterals also, they are engaging global minds, but their potential is so much, and it is so relevant to secure global peace and security. Robotics, quantum, semiconductors, biotech, drones, and hypersonics are not only rewriting the very character of war. Progress and mastery of these domains will determine the strategic haves and have-nots in the future. There is a paradigm shift now, and that is discernible also in Indo-Pacific region. The conventional mechanisms have yielded. New stakeholders are there. They determine success and failure, and they determine from small rooms. They act as crucibles of change. They act as incubators. This August Assembly will focus on these issues because all preparations can come at naught and get neutralized by these, as I call, bleeding technologies, disruptive technologies. Their employment is possible either way, and therefore there will have to be ever preparedness to use them in a positive sense to ensure enforcement of a global order. To meet such like challenges along with the structural corrections, we need a series of cultural transitions to which reference was made by the Admiral. New talent pipelines and civil-military fusion seems to be the new mantras. I would add one more to this. all research has been funded by and large, catalyzed by and large, by corporates in the developed world. Corporates of countries like Bharat also need to come forward, converge on the same table, have complete fusion with civil and military forces to evolve such technologies. Already steps have been taken by Bharat, and it is one of the few countries that have focused on these disruptive technologies like quantum computing, artificial intelligence, even machine making. Friends, our Prime Minister has reflected in last several years his vision, his commitment with respect to this region in particular at several global fora. We are actively looking at seas as a crucial frontier of our growth. India has launched ambitious Sagarmala project for port-led growth. The project will increase our logistical efficiency and reduce the cost of our supply chains. But all this can fructify into positive results when there is no disruption. And that is the subject you all are grappling in your deliberations for this day and next 2 days to follow. 4 new mega ports and a world-class transshipment port are proposed under Sagarmala. The capacity of existing ports under their infrastructure and linkages with hinterland is being strengthened under the project. Our Indo-Pacific policy complements the port-led seaward development strategy under the Sagarmala project. Not only the physical connectivity, but also the safety of underwater cables and pipelines for digital and energy connectivity is essential for development of this entire region. And look at, if we look at the kind of data that is getting transferred via these connective mechanisms, it far outshines the one that we are doing through satellites. This is a hard reality. Its disruption therefore can lead to serious consequences, compromise security, jeopardize maritime trade, and totally bring at naught the connectivity aspect. Secure digital communication links between the ports located around Indo-Pacific region is essential. I would say unavoidably essential for the growth of the marine trade in the region. In fact, the sea itself is a source of immense unexploited wealth. And this is a new area. This new area has caught up attention of the corporates, of the business community. They have understood the kind of wealth that is there in the sea. Besides trade and marine fishing, offshore petroleum reserves, critical rare earth elements and minerals like yttrium, and look at the use to which it can be put to, scandium, etc., lying on the deep sea bed make seas the new frontiers of contestation amongst global players to contend the possibility of contesting claims of the seas and its assets. And the size is enormous, phenomenal, geometrical, astronomical. We need a regulatory regime, and regulatory regime by itself, friends, is inconsequential unless you have extremely effective, impactful enforcement thereof. As the fastest growing economy, India seeks a free and peaceful rule-based Indo-Pacific region with open and unrestricted flow of lawful, legitimate commerce. We as a nation seek freedom for navigation and overflight in accordance with established international laws and conventions. The problem arises when there are transgressions. The mechanism fails. Neither there is immediate resolution, and no one knows when the resolution will come. I am sure deliberations at your level, where domain experts are involved, there will be awareness generated that dislocation of such kind of mechanism leads to serious economic consequences that visit humanity with serious consequences, including that of hunger. We seek a just global regulatory regime that respects the right over exclusive economic zone for the sustainable and equitable exploitation of marine resources and seabed in high seas. I am not an expert, but I can indicate to this august house, this is going to be a real area of contestation, because the regulatory regime is yet to crystallize itself to a finer point. Such kind of think tanks can focus on these areas, evolve a mechanism which does not leave undefined gray area. Free and open seas must guard against illegal human and narco trafficking. Piracy and seaborne terrorism cannot be allowed in a rule-based regime that must respect territorial integrity of the countries and inviolability of the exclusive economic zones. We are in such a developed world at the moment. We have the power of connectivity, we have the power otherwise also. But still, we have challenges of piracy, narcotic drug trafficking, and the wealth that is generated by these illegitimate means of business are used by non-state actors to disrupt peace and harmony. Non-state actors have emerged as the greatest negative interventions in the global peace effort. Individual nations may not be in a position to neutralize them. Only in togetherness, with a firm foundational spinal mechanism, they can be dealt with. It is reassuring to know that our Navy has the skills, motivation, the might and the resources to secure our long coastline and our marine interests. My salutations to the men in white, men and women in white. They have done remarkably well. I tested their prowess and power and commitment while I was Governor of State of West Bengal. They ensured that when we were visited with super cyclonic disasters, there was no mortality on high seas, not a single mortality. And the damage was minimized by a real robust mechanism. So my salutations to them. With the Indo-Pacific region becoming a prominent pole in global economic order, it is important that the region remains peaceful, stable, and free from contestations. When we entertain such a pious hope, those who seek to disrupt it are in higher mode of functioning. We have to anticipate them, neutralize them. While Indian Navy in close coordination with other navies of like-minded friendly countries is always prepared to secure common good, platforms like Indo-Pacific Regional Dialogue provide the opportunity to build an academic consensus for a peaceful rule-based marine order. I trust your deliberations over the next 3 days across 6 professional sessions, one is already over, will help build such a consensus. If there is a mechanism evolved that you generate awareness, I'm sharing with you, with my limited experience, that those you think are fully alive to the problem, your assumptions may not be correct. Those who are in the seat of decision making need to be educated, sometimes awakened, then awareness generated. And therefore your role, the role of such think tanks will go a long way in securing a global order that will conserve, sustain, and bring about peace in the world. I thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my impressions with such august audience on this very topical issue. Again, I reflect, I'm not an expert. You all are experts. You are domain experts. I can have only a macro view. You will have micro view. You will have even micro view. But I can express my hope, optimism, and confidence that if such think tanks remain active, functional, generate awareness, give reports that can be considered by the executive, by the legislature, by civil and military dispensations, we are assured of global peace and order and a global economic growth for one and all. Thank you so much. Jai Bharat.